So the big things really that I wanted to talk about today are rigor, transparency, and discoverability. They're all really important in the integrity process. And there's a number of factors and a number of tools that we've now got that are helping in this process, but many of them need further refinement and many of them need loop closure to happen.
So authorship agreements, a little bit more information on authorship agreements. Whether it's a contract or a terms of collaboration document, all pharma have a version of this. And even though GPP states that this is an agreement, not a contract, many companies do require a wet or electronic signature, while others just require an acknowledgement that the terms have been read and understood. Some are short and simple and written in plain language, and others run into many pages and read very much like a legal document.
Increasingly, we know that there is a continuum of type of research that's done, and these standards should be tailored towards the type of research. We know that there's been a lot of talk around how to report, catalog, disseminate RCTs and the standards that come within, but there's an increasing scale of evidence that blurs in terms of some of the biases and challenges and methodological approaches that are required that are perhaps not as familiar to, I would say, that the majority of stakeholders that look at medical evidence. And this includes pragmatic trials that are a hybrid of RCTs and observational studies, and then observational and real-world evidence type of programs that I'm going to be focusing on in a little more detail in this talk.
And also, no publisher can solve all these problems of reproducibility working in isolation. And I feel the biggest policy and infrastructural challenges that we have to enable more reproducible research, they can only be tackled when multiple publishers are collaborating, not just as an industry, but with other organizations that have interest in the conduct and communication of research.
So just thinking about kind of the trial timeline, so your study timeline of how you're going to do this, and one of the points where you need to start thinking about data sharing and how you're going to make those outputs available after the study completes. So the first step, as we talked about, when you're registering your trial, you'll also need to have your data sharing plan and submit that at registration. So you need to think about how your data is going to be shared upfront, or whether you'll share it. So that yes or no answer.
And this has its own hazards. And there is a dangerous trend, in my opinion, towards publication via press release. A lot of companies hold these press releases to announce data, even though those data may not be fully vetted, adjudicated, and qualified. So in both the regulatory and publication contexts, the skill sets that a qualified medical writer brings to the table may include critical assessment for comprehensibility of the data and expertise in constructing accurate, clear, and concise documents.
Where we can argue that those publications drive the practice of medicine. Those are the best clinical trials that are published. And even out of those, the top publications in those 5 journals, 79% of the data presented had missingness, requiring imputations. The implications of that are huge. So where is all this going? This is what I call the clinical research industrial complex today. There's about 350,000 clinical trials registered around the world. It's a $60 billion a year spent on clinical trials, but that's predominantly relegated to industry level research and some academic research.
Because now we allow full video articles to be published in our journal. This is a new and direct way to communicate your key messages to a broad audience, and in the video you can include the full, the full oral presentation or or even a poster presentation with a speaker presenting the poster as he was in a physical conference.
In fact, Emwa is not only a stable association. Over the last years, we see the tendency of Emwa to grow. Apparently, the pandemic did not alter this trend until now. We might even expect more professionals to join us, as the need of professional education is increasing during these times.